Love that.
Good afternoon. Thanks. That's B5NNN, Benji, SEO. A lot of my stuff was done by Roscoe's, the original intro, original logos, and all of my overlays are still all Roscoe's. But Benji's been doing some cool stuff with me on my new logos, my new intros, and some of the shows we did. I don't know if you've seen for the Lakers Warriors stuff. He was doing all kinds of different backgrounds and different layouts and interesting stuff. So I definitely recommend Benji if anybody's looking for change of pace design wise. He's definitely a lot of fun. But welcome to First and Ted, everybody. It's Wednesday at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. Got Aaron from 49ers First Takes here with me. We're excited to chop up a little bit of 49ers football with everybody. Not a ton of stuff going on, but we'll go over what there is, talk to the audience, see what people have on their minds, and see if we can figure out the best plan of action for our team.
Yeah, it's me and Raj were talking about it last night. It's the we're at that point right now where it's just like, as far as news goes, we'll have some OTA stuff to talk about, especially, if this is supposed to be the time where Trey Lance is going to shine better that he does it. And we have a lot of people talking and it'll bring a lot of clicks to the 49ers and to content creators. And if he's doing bad, I think it'll do the same thing. And like Blake Brown up in the chat, who must have came in here before the stream, I had a similar topic on my channel. I'm streaming your stream too, and my title is very clickbaity, as it says that Darnold is the starting quarterback with an exclamation point. But then that kind of stuff will definitely draw people in.
It will. It got Blake here, even if it was just to complain. Before that, we had Brian Culp saying, "What's up, faithful Ted and Aaron dudes? Let's go Niners." Hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment. Yeah, if you're on Aaron's channel, be sure you come over to Ted Talks Ball, hit like and subscribe. And same thing with folks on my channel. Make sure you get over to 49ers First Takes and return the favor for Aaron. We really appreciate it. We got McNiner here saying, "What up, Aaron and Ted?" Damian
Thanks for
Lee
sharing
in the house,
with all the streams, guys.
saying, "Sam, I am." He's a Sam believer, a Sam truther, a Darnold darer. So there you go. I've seen some other people. Eric, I'm blanking on his last name, from the UK, was in the comments of the promo for the show today, saying something about Sam Darnold. Start Sam, hashtag start Sam. I'm like, oh God, don't even joke about it, please. Got Frank Tom Ocean in the house saying, "Yo, Aaron, thanks for joining." We got Laura Cat in the house saying, "Hey guys, watching at my desk." Gotta go support. Thanks, Laura Cat. We
appreciate that.
Yeah. And then Dave McNiner says, "Sam needs an exorcism to be the starter. Quit seeing ghosts. Trey Lance greater than Sam Darnold."
Pretty good one. I like that. Nice.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And then good afternoon, and everybody's just saying hi to one another. I will do my best to try and show all the chats, though, because that way people that are in the different chats don't miss out on what's being said and the other ones. So I guess I just will show those real quick where people are even saying hi. Normally I don't show those, but I don't want anybody to feel left out or hear us talk about something that only half the people can see, or probably a little bit less than half. Interesting that you brought up Trey Lance. Looked like today there was news that he got invited to Tight End University along with Josh Allen by George Kittle. So some people are saying, can't say that Kittle doesn't like Lance anymore because he invited him to Tight End U. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Everything's a story with this team when it comes to the quarterback. I think it's great that he brought him. It shows solidarity and he's behind him. But reading too much into your quarterback going into Tight End University, I don't really know how much you could take from that. But I think it's awesome that Josh Allen is there with him, because a lot of people compare the two games of them similar. So it's good. He didn't really play with George Kittle last year, so it'd be good to get a little bit of however you can really do, but a little bit of chemistry, at least being around him, because they didn't really do stuff much last year. He didn't play with him or McCaffrey, so good to see that that's happening. But to read more into it than what it is kind of silly. But everybody has clicks and tricks to make people watch. So if that's what you're using, go for it.
No doubt about it. Can't begrudge anybody for getting their clicks on, their revenue, their whatever the case may be, their likes. Everybody has different ways of doing it. I try not to be a hot take artist, but sometimes it's tempting, I will admit. Mike Hurtazzo is saying Lance was invited to Tight End University last offseason, but he pulled out. Was that the arm fatigue that everybody talked about? Was that the reason why? Was that? I thought that was 2021, right?
No, I don't know exactly what and the reason. His finger? I don't know. Is it still hurting? I'm not sure.
Could be. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That might make sense because that just came out this year. That it was still bugging him as late as last offseason.
Maybe he didn't want people to see his funky delivery or something. Because,
yeah,
camp last year was interesting because he would have some incredible throws and then just have issues with like the most common stuff. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to put it on display for people to see. Because you're going to assume there's going to be some eyes and people there watching. But then again, maybe he just wanted to stick with the team. I don't know. Again, this is the same thing. It's all, you can all take it every way, which way you want it, as far as news and, make stories out of it. But I wonder why he did. I got to make sure I say this right because it sounds wrong. I wonder why he pulled out last year. It'd be interesting to see why. I wonder if somebody would ask him. Maybe they'll, you get a better idea. But hopefully he does well, and gets some chemistry with George Kittle. Hopefully he can go into the season healthy.
Maybe he didn't have proper protection. I don't know.
Boom.
There we go. Brian Culp says streaming on both. Yeah, Brian, I finally broke Aaron down. I was telling him I was already streaming to 2 other channels besides my own. And so why not stream to his too? So
yeah, it's because the whole downloading after part takes so long for computers.
And it sucks data, man. I swear to God, on my plan, I've like come within 10% of running out on data like 2 or 3 months in a row. Like the last couple of days of the month, I'm getting all these warnings. In fact, even one month I did go over and they're like, this will cost you $10 if you do that next month. So I used over 1 terabyte of data. I think it was 1.12 terabytes.
Oh, so you do it on your phone?
No. It's no, I'm talking Xfinity, Comcast cable, whatever my package is. Somehow I'm using that. I mean, also think about it, I'm doing a lot more shows. It's probably part of the problem too.
Yeah,
because I was doing 2-3 a day. I'm going to start to slow down on that a little bit. I got some advice that you better to do a little bit less and not be so overexposed and bugging people to where they turn off notifications or mute them because they're getting too many from me. So I'm going to try and ease back a little and do it more.
Well, part of it too, I think it's better for your mentals because if you're talking about the same thing in 7 streams, 8 streams, 10 streams, kind of loses its luster after about the 3rd. Hello, Panama Queen. Thank you for coming through. Right now it's 3 with me, NWO, you and Raj. Like I said, it was hard yesterday. Me and Raj was like, I got no notes. I'm like, yeah, let's just kind of go with it. I think we went 45 minutes, which is he said only 30, and we went an extra 15. I like to chatter, and so kind of made him stay.
There you go. No, a lot of it depends on audience interaction too. Laura Cat says Ted's got jokes. Don't get me started on the dad jokes. I got a million of them. They're not very funny, but I'll still try them out from time to time, especially if Silly Fungi shows up or Silly Fungi, the Rams fan.
Best name ever.
He always cracks a dad joke when he joins the chat, and then I feel obligated to return.
Dude, my father was the king of dad jokes. He was the king of dad jokes and fart jokes and poop jokes. And it was like, as I've gotten older, I work with a lot of younger dudes, like half my age. And I have these really convoluted stories or jokes that my dad did the exact same thing. And by the time you tell the person, they're just like, they don't laugh. And I'm like, oh my God, I turned into him. Like, you ask them something, hey, do you remember that? And they're like, no, I wasn't born. No, you know what I'm talking about. And you heard my mom. My mom used to be in the background and be like, he wasn't born yet. Stop asking him. And I've reached the same pinnacle in my life where I'm like, remember that show? And I'm like, oh wait, you were born in 2002. Oh, never mind. It was on in like the early 90s. So it's like it happens, you know.
Yeah, all the advice that I fought so hard in like high school and college, I'm finally starting to listen to, and it's like, wow, my dad was right about a lot of this stuff. And sometimes you just have to learn the hard way, be a slow learner, do it your own way. But you know, it sucks getting old. That's all I can say, Aaron. So, but it beats the alternative. Let's see here, Dave McNiner says, Ted, I think Aaron froze here, folks. Ted, what I do is my equipment to Xfinity, tell them I'm switching and then give up the better plan. I have unlimited data. Thank
Did you
you,
just
David.
freeze out? Because I did.
You did. Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, yeah, I think you're okay now though. I was just saying that basically like in high school and college, I did everything I could to fight my parents' advice.
Yeah,
And,
always. My
and
dad taught me one thing, and
eventually become them.
oh, go ahead.
And then basically just, you know, it sucks getting old, but it beats the alternative, right? So
Yeah. My dad always told me about sports and it took me a long time to be able to kind of be able to watch a game if they lose. I used to let it ruin my life when I was younger, even into my 30s, almost 40s. You know, breaking things, tossing stuff across the room, getting so emotionally. Why?
we're
It
not Cowboys fans, Aaron.
So yeah, I've punched some things and stuff. I don't do that anymore. I actually laughed. Like when the NFC Championship game, the way it went down, I was giggling. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I told my brother, I was like, I'm not even mad. I'm actually at peace because the game's over now. We're not winning this, and I don't want to go to the Super Bowl and face the Chiefs with Josh Johnson as my quarterback. So I was like, I had already mentally accepted it, and it sucked because it was a long season, and once again we got that taste of like maybe we're going to win it this year, and then it didn't happen. But you know, it's life, man. I'm just hopeful and happy that I still have a job to go back to after being out so many times in the last couple of years with different physical and mental health issues and stuff. That you know, so sports are great, and this YouTube thing's fun and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of like you gotta have to break it down and separate the importance of it in real life, you know?
No doubt about it. Yeah. Family first, work's important too. Friends, all that good stuff. Keeps you sane, no doubt about it. Keeps you grounded. So as far as Niner news, been a few tidbits. I mean, obviously one was Trey Lance invited to Tight End University. Another was that we signed Ja'Cour Pearson,
Yeah.
the XFL leading wide receiver of this most recent season for the XFL. So I thought that was exciting. I mean, we got so many wide receivers; it's insane. But he seems like one that might have a higher chance of making it, along with a couple others. But I'd love to get your thoughts.
That was the guy that burned that practice player, right?
Yep.
And I'll preface it what I said that yesterday with Raj. Rookie minicamp, there is no pros. All there is rookies and undrafted free agents and people that they invite. So anything you watch during that time of year, you have to take with a massive, massive grain of salt that he probably burned somebody, and this is no offense to anybody, who probably going to end up having a job not in football during the year, whether he's a plumber, an accountant, he works for a architecture agency or does whatever, like
Flipping
take
burgers.
everything. Yeah, flipping. No, I don't think it. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, maybe if he's the manager, maybe. But then I'm saying, like everybody gets so caught up in that stuff, and I try not to. And again, it's all for clicks and views, and it all works, and everybody wants to be the first person to unearth something just in case 6 months down the road, he's this great player on the team, and they can be like, see, receipt, you're a receipt guy. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm more interested in just the rookies that were drafted that could make an impact this year. Those are the guys that I'm kind of looking forward to. Uh, a lot of times, especially with this team, because they're so ready to win right now, a lot of their rookies don't have an impact. They kind of redshirt. I wonder if this year is going to be the same, seeing how, like, for instance, with Beal, he's part of this pass rush rotation, maybe, right? Opposite of Bosa. The
Mm-hmm.
Niners don't make a move on another edge guy. Are we going to do a mass like rotation and having all these different guys be part of it? That's kind of my thought. So if that's the case, then this whole sit-em thing won't really apply this year for a guy like Beal, because he would be expected to come in with Drake Jackson and essentially be part of like a 3 or 4-headed monster across from Nick Bosa. So.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of options at that other defensive end. You got Kerry Hyder, you got Cleveland Farrell, you got Austin Bryant, and Farrell and Bryant both played together at Clemson. So they both played at Levi's in the national championship that Trevor Lawrence won against Alabama. Obviously, Robert Beal out of Georgia. And who am I missing? I guess and Drake Jackson, of course, who drafted last year. So lots of options there, and it'll be interesting to see how they play out. I feel really good about Robert Beal.
I keep thinking Larry Beal. Don't ask me why. Bash is always correcting me.
There you go. I mean, obviously not on rundowns, but as a situational player on third downs, I think we might see a fair amount of Robert Beal, especially later in the season and going into the playoffs, that type of thing.
Are you comfortable with him being part of a rotation of unknown guys, or would you still like to see another guy get signed on this team?
I would love to see Ngakoue. We've talked about that a few times. And it seems like the Niners freed up some money to do something with that money. Yeah, they haven't done it yet from McCaffrey, and there will be more money when we restructure Bosa as well. Easily enough for a mid-level defensive end, that sort of $15 to $17 million range. Could be a right tackle too.
Either one of those. Right tackle.
Yeah, either one of those would make me happy for sure.
Do you think they use it for operating costs and maybe do something mid-season?
Well, operating costs is about $5 million, and I had deducted out operating costs. If you add up the $3 million we had, the $10 million we got from McCaffrey, and 7 to 10 or 9 for Bosa, you're talking 23-ish, 22 minus 5 is then that gets you down to the 17, 18, 16.
They definitely have enough money to sign somebody.
Yeah, that's enough with operating costs to go out and get a right tackle or defensive end, I think.
Yeah, so. Raj felt the same way last night. He's like, I would feel better. I would feel better as a person or as a fan if there was somebody that you could say, okay, he is the starter. And then all these other guys are competing for essentially to be depth. Mm-hmm. And last year we had kind of a similar issue where it was like Bosa and nobody. You know what I mean? It was like Bosa and some guys. Him and Armstead and some guys. Kinlaw, of course, didn't do jack crap. He was hurt all year. And then, Abucom and a bunch of those other guys, I don't even think a lot of them had any more than 6 sacks. I was saying, like, if Beal could get, or even Drake Jackson could get 8 to 10 sacks, that would be huge. And then you put in Hargrave in that situation, then all of a sudden you have something there,
Oh, yeah. You're talking maybe like 2019 all over again. Maybe better, because Bosa is better than 2019. Hargrave's a better pass rusher than DeForest Buckner was. So, yeah, maybe at least for pass rush purposes, better than 2019. Sacktown Izzy says, will we have enough to sign somebody even after paying Bosa? Yeah, Sacktown Izzy, that's the thing is when we pay Bosa, there's all these huge numbers that everybody's talking about, 30, 32, 33 million dollars a year. But ultimately for 2023, we're set to pay him 17 million. And if we pay him a $1 million veteran minimum, and then just like say 1/5 of his signing bonus, let's say it's a $50 million signing bonus. And then 1/5 of that is 10 million each year. So you got 1 million plus 10 million is 11. You're still 6 million less, 6.5 million less than we were set to pay Bosa this year. So we can easily save money. And let's say the signing bonus is a little bit less, then you could get a little bit less, where it's maybe more like $9 million that we pay Bosa, and you're saving 8.5. So yeah. Anyway,
That's
yes,
interesting. I'm not a
we do
big
have enough
math
to sign
guy.
somebody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the signing bonus is taken away
So,
from some of the years that you were signed every single season, right?
yeah, so it's a $50 million bonus. It's $10 million every year that hits the cap.
So does that
So
take away? So instead of being 30 million against the cap, you're like 20 million against the cap. That's what you're saying per year.
Um, so so instead of $30 million, that what we're paying them average annual value, it could be as low as 11 or 10 or even 9 million in 2023. What that means is that some other year, instead of paying 30 million against the cap, it's going to end up being 40 million. So it all comes due eventually, but the whole thought is that the cap keeps going up and up and up. So the bigger numbers later
Yeah, the
don't
old kick
hurt
the
as
can
bad.
thing. Yep.
Yeah. That's what, and that's what a lot of teams do. It's what the Saints are still doing. People have been saying the Saints can't do it. They keep doing it. The Rams did it for a while, and it kind of came due this year. That's why they lost Ramsey, and Bobby Wagner. And, I got a whole list of all the folks. I might as well just play it. But the Rams, pretty much got wrecked this year by the salary cap. So yeah, Ramsey, Wagner, Nick Scott, Taylor Rapp, Greg Gaines, Leonard Floyd,
It's a lot of
both
good players.
A-Robs. Yeah, Allen Robinson, the receiver, and Ashawn Robinson, the defensive tackle, 2 A-Robs, all gone. So yeah, the Rams lost a lot. They had a good draft apparently, but it's basically Stafford, Cup, and Aaron Donald and a bunch of scrubs, or at
Yeah.
least unproven at the very best. If not scrubs, still need to prove they're not.
Yeah, a lot of these guys don't have a track record, so you can't really make any type of prediction. I wanted to comment on Josh Up. He says clickbait isn't a good idea for keeping and gaining subscribers. I don't usually clickbait, but sometimes you got to pose statements or put statements in your titles to get people to be like, what the hell is he talking about? Because if you look in the description, I actually have a question mark in that same
Sneaky.
it'll say, yeah, it's part of the game. I mean, I don't get the views like everybody else, so it's not like it actually works, but it's part of the YouTube thing. But yeah, I'm not clickbaity. There are some people that are straight up clickbaity, but they try to stay consistent because they're always clickbaity. Like, if you're going to be clickbaity, I guess do it all the time. But yeah, it was just a idea. But yeah, I'm not super into fooling the public with fake titles and stuff.
It's good to try different things,
Yeah,
and
I'm just
otherwise you're just being ignorant. If you just say like, "Oh, I don't like that," or "That's not for me," you never know till you try it. That type of thing. Randy Daytona says, "Hello, governors."
Hello, governor. What's up, man?
How we doing, Randy?
What is
Thanks
it?
for
Old
joining.
OGs of OGs like Brian Colt and McNiner. Freaking
I'm
way
not
back
sure
then.
if I can ever forgive Randy though, because he pretended to be a Sacramento Kings fan during that series, even though I guess he's really, is it the Pistons? Did you say you're a Pistons fan, or I forget? I apologize, Randy, that I forgot your real team because I had you pegged as Kings for a while there. But now the Warriors are out of it too, so not like I have anything to be high and mighty about anymore when it comes to the NBA.
I just think they didn't
Brian,
have enough. I didn't think they have enough bullets in their freaking gun this year. And we gotta understand, like every year going into deep playoff runs, man, it's got to just completely tire out teams. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't even watch basketball, and it was like the Curry show. It was all Curry and nobody else. It seemed like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Clay and Poole did not show up in the last game. Curry didn't shoot well from three in Game 6. Curry was pretty good most of the time, whether it was shooting or assists or just he has this gravity where everybody just goes to to cover him, and it just leaves other people wide open. KD certainly benefited from that when he was with the Warriors, as evidenced by him never winning a ring before being with the Warriors and not winning one since. But ultimately, I will say, you know me and my talk about the refs. I felt like the refs jammed us in some of the early games, but in Game 6, I can't blame the refs. Clay was cold. Poole was bad the whole series, and Steph was at least bad from 3 in Game 6. And so, congrats to the Lakers. I just hope the Nuggets win. I hope the refs don't hand it to the Lakers against the Nuggets as well. They
Man,
didn't
the
seem
Nuggets
to
were up a
last night.
lot yesterday.
They're up by
I'm surprised the
18 at
game
the
ended.
half.
That game ended pretty close.
It did.
Let's talk.
It did.
I don't know. It's on your. Oh, I was going to say that we did with the title of the show we were talking about. You know,
Bryant mentioned it. I think it's funny to watch the whole show the whole time and not hear anything from the title.
well, we touched on quarterback earlier, but yeah, the whole Sam Darnold being the starter. People
Lewis
hearing,
Riddick report.
saying the Lewis Riddick report, and there's people out there. I think I saw Mike from Nothing. Was it Mike from Nothing But Niners talking about?
Oh,
Yeah,
about
like he think,
Witherspoon.
yeah, like Witherspoon, and I thought he was talking.
He loves Akello.
I
He
hated
said it
Ahkello
when he was on.
Witherspoon.
He said, I didn't hate him, but
Not as
I
a person, just
I
as a
kind of
player.
liked
I
him.
thought he
But
was
by the
cheese.
time, no. I mean, his whole thing. He was the thing with Akello was he would always be in the right position, but he would never turn his head and he would never make a play on the ball. And the ball would come zipping over his ear hole, and the guys would be making touchdowns on him and big receptions. Towards the end, I thought he started to do a little bit better. But clearly, he hasn't really caught on in Seattle or Pittsburgh. So, it seems like other teams didn't really think that much of him either. And it's not like Pittsburgh didn't need a cornerback because their corner, Cam Sutton, went to the Lions along with Emmanuel Mosley, our corner. Those both our corners from the Steelers and Niners went to the Lions. So
Interesting. As
yeah,
far as the Darnold situation, everybody comes back to the point of him never really getting a fair shot, and that he's finally going to be with some good players. And if you switched out both of them and you put one to one team and you brought in one to our team and with our players, would he be the same player? Like if you took Purdy and put him somewhere else, would he have the same effect? And it's an honest question. And maybe, he's the most refined of the three, but listen, he's got a lot of tape out there and a lot of it isn't really that good. So you have to be, you can't, it's like the new car smell, or like when you get something that's brand new, remember when you were a kid, or at least I used to think that, like, when I got a new pair of sneakers, I thought I could jump higher. And then I realized it
and
wasn't the
run
case.
faster.
And run faster. Like,
Oh,
look,
yeah,
I can run
absolutely.
faster and jump higher. And then you realize at the end that that's not the case. I feel like that's what it is with him, because he hasn't played with the 49ers. He's like this unknown commodity that, he may have sucked everywhere else, but maybe with the Niners, maybe he's the one that takes us over the top. And people have been running with this. And then they try to convince you, and then they try to really sell you on the fact that he hasn't played with anybody and he didn't have a good coach and everything. So listen, he's going to be the backup through a majority of training camp behind Trey Lance. And if he's the starting quarterback down the stretch during this season, I don't think we have a good chance to win a Super Bowl. But I could be wrong, but I feel like you've seen enough of him. And I feel like people and quarterbacks that have bad habits, that fall into bad habits, guys that see ghosts, so to speak, that's not a good sign for when you're in a pressure situation like a playoff game where you're going against Patrick Mahomes, and you need a guy to win a championship for you on the last drive, and he's a guy that sees things that aren't there. Like, do you really want that kind of leader on the field, or a lack of thereof? People get they fall in love with a lot of stuff when it's not against people. It's all practice, or it's all stuff that's happened in the past, and it's never like the most recent thing. Like, let's see what he does in camp. Let's see what he does in preseason, and then make a judgment. But this whole thing, he's going to be the starter, and maybe he becomes Steve Young's from when he played on the Bucks type of thing, I think is just really, really stretching it.
Yeah, I mean, I said Alex Smith, remember? And I think that's even a little bit of a stretch. I just feel like they've had similar situations of five OCs in 5 years, but I don't think Darnold will be any better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think Purdy is definitely better than Jimmy, and I think Lance can be better than any of them. So, yeah, I don't see how Sam Darnold wins the job unless Purdy still isn't ready and Lance gets injured. That's sort of my scenario where I see it happening. But I don't know if we talked about it last week. I mean, that's one of the two doomsday scenarios of camp, right? Is Darnold beats out Lance or Zane Gonzalez beats out Jake Moody, for the kicker role. Both
I
of
don't think
those
either
would.
of those. I don't think either of those are going to happen.
I don't either, but if
I
they
think Jake
did,
Moody is the real deal. I really do. I don't know why I think that way.
well, did you hear what Peacock said? I had him on last week, and he was saying he said kickers are reverse running backs, and I was like, hmm? And he said, yeah, think about it. Think about all the best kickers you've ever known. And then think about what age they were when they were the best at kicking. And he's like, they were in their like mid to late 30s, most of them. There's very few like diaper
True.
dandy great kickers right out of school.
Diaper dandy. That's a great. I
Yeah.
love that. Little Dick Vitale.
So yeah, no doubt about it. So I was like, oh man, that's a little bit scary, but nonetheless, I do believe in Moody too. I feel like a lot of people are excited about him, and I think with good reason. So we'll see.
He'd really
Uh,
have to fall hard to not beat out Zane Gonzalez in camp. But maybe Zane Gonzalez, we keep him around, or he's they release him and he doesn't get signed by anybody, and you never know. And hopefully
Peacock
that's
says
what
we
they do.
might carry both. If Gonzalez wins him out, maybe we carry an extra kicker for a season to let him develop. Because you can't expose Moody to the practice squad. That's for damn sure. I mean,
No,
he would be snapped up in a millisecond. So maybe that's the answer. But then you got three QBs and two kickers. Like,
yeah, it would be a
that's
weird
taking a
numbers
lot of
game. Sorry, we're gonna
yeah.
have to take our risk skill positions here. We're only going to go with two running backs and one, and not the way that this team gets injured.
No, no. We got Jimmy Perez saying, sup, Aaron and Ted. Thanks, Jimmy, for coming. Brian Culp saying, today everyone's going live at the same time. Is it basketball fault? You know what? It's their fault, not ours. This is our time. And all these other people coming on in our time, let me tell
Yeah,
you, I don't
jerks.
appreciate it. I
They
mean,
should know by now
ultimately,
what time we go live. What the hell?
it's okay. We'll just steal all their people. It's, they'll learn the lesson the hard way. So let's see. And then I loved Bryant had a thing he said something about like his Velcro sneakers that could
No,
make
it
him
was.
run
I
faster.
still feel like I love my Velcro sneakers because they were talking about the Reebok pumps, and I owned a pair
Oh,
of
okay.
those.
Okay.
Mine
Okay.
always used to get a hole in the bottom, and there was like those hexalite. It was like that like gel slash bubble thing,
There we go.
and you would just hear
Velcro kicks.
and when I'd walk.
It's like a bad Seinfeld episode with the squeaky shoes.
The Velcro I had it when I was a little boy, early '80s, early '83, '84. When my mom would dress me up, I had Velcro kicks on.
Reebok pump. I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy Daytona called it. Sean 951 Niners says bang bang Niner gang. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you being here. Jake Moody is going to be the rookie of the year and Super Bowl MVP. There we
Now
go.
that would be really
Then
weird, but
people,
also interesting at the same time.
then people will stop crying about a kicker in the third round
Yeah,
for
but like,
sure.
how many of us mocked him though? Like, I know it was in the fifth. A lot of us mocked him, or the sixth, or even the seventh. But come on, like, let's just listen. We all wanted him. We got him. We could have drafted a running back, and then everyone complained that we should have drafted Moody. Dude. It's over with. The draft's over.
But would Randy says definitely O'Roy, offensive rookie of the year, but wouldn't he be S Roy, special teams rookie ST Roy?
Or Elroy. Boom, boom, beanie. Sorry.
There, you're dating yourself again, Aaron. Most people are not going to get a Jetsons
Nobody knows
reference.
who the Jetsons are, the
I
cartoon,
know.
unless you were born, I would
Only
say.
us old farts. Probably 1980 or earlier, something like
Was the
that.
Jetsons from like the late 60s or early mid 70s around there? Is that
Yeah,
when they came out?
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
then they lasted for a long time though. They were pretty prolific.
How
Bryant
many things on
Colts,
that show came true? I
100%.
wonder. Still don't have
I
flying
don't.
cars.
We don't have housekeeping robo. Oh, I guess we do. Yeah, Roomba. I mean,
The
they don't
room.
look like that. They don't stand up, but I mean that's real. We don't have the flying cars. No, that's definitely not yet. And conveyor belts
Well, the
everywhere,
problem
sort of.
with the
Come to the
conveyor
airport.
belts, yeah, like if you go, sometimes back in the old days in the old grocery stores, they would have conveyor belts that would run outside through like the front of the store, and your good groceries would be on the conveyor belt. Yeah, kind of weird.
Randy's saying it's our time in here. I think he means the old farts, but I'm not sure. Moody has big shoes to fill. Third round kicker, fourth round punter for his belief in the field position and maximizing points for the defense. Yeah, there's some wisdom to that for sure. Bryant says he called them at 99. He also said that he's a Lakers fan because his name is Bryant, like Kobe Bryant.
Nice.
But yeah, but I think are you that young, Bryant? I guess he is. Yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's
That's
really
crazy.
young.
That is really.
49er Media, I think he runs the 49er Media. I think that's him. He's a young guy. He's only
It's
like
Anshul.
21.
It's Anshul. Yeah. He was on yesterday. He's a good guy. In one of my creator groups, chat groups that I'm in.
Nice.
Laura Katz saying Jetsons. She gets the reference. We love it. Jetsons and Flintstones were on at the
Yeah, they
same
were
time.
both by
Oh man,
Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, they were both by Hanna-Barbera. Kind of had that similar voicing of the characters.
yeah.
What was it?
I'm definitely
Spacely Sprockets was the boss. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more of a Fred Flintstone guy
You remind
than
me of my
George
dad, who's
Jetson.
always complaining about what's for dinner. Big old fat guy, just like, "Where's my dinner, woman?" Sound like my dad.
Get that Bronto burger. We got Mitch Kofsky in the house saying, "What's up, guys?"
What's
Mitch
going on?
is he has a group that I'm a part of, a content creators chat group. He's also was a Fire Doc Rivers guy forever, and then he was Fire Glenn Rivers, which I guess is Doc's real name. And then now that Doc's gotten fired, I don't know what he's going to do with his Twitter
Yeah, you're gonna have
handle.
to find a new hashtag. Don't go Kyle Shanahan. Don't say fire Kyle Shanahan.
No, he's an Eagles fan,
Oh,
so
he's
he
an
probably
Eagles
does
fan.
want to follow
He
Kyle
would love
Shanahan.
that. He
Yeah,
would love that.
yeah, he would. He would. But good guy nonetheless, despite all that stuff. In fact, one of the channels that we're streaming to is his channel on YouTube. So, thanks
Nice.
for joining, Mitch. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for adding that to my stream. Always good to get the word out to more people. I think so.
What about the?
Um,
Oh, thank you very much.
there you
Appreciate that.
go.
It's it needs to get washed because one of the strings got dipped in coffee. I don't know if you can see it.
Couldn't tell,
I'm a
but
clumsy guy. Like I'm the type of guy. Okay, so I went on a date with this girl once, a long time ago, and my first date with her, I spilled my soda on my jeans. Like that's me. I am Clark Kent, George McFly. I am a clumsy freaking. I get nervous when I see like pretty girls. Like if a girl's really pretty, I'm just like, hi. I'm not the confidence comes if I know you after a while, then I just kind of be myself. But like, yeah, that's totally me. So
it's
yeah,
very normal.
the sweatshirt got dipped in coffee, unfortunately. I think I spilled something else on it too. It needs to get washed, but I appreciate the and this hat's kind of an oldie. Um, it's whiter than my face, so there's a little good contrast because other than that, I look pretty pale. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good thing to do. I need to
But
probably bleach this to get it a little whiter.
let's talk about the fact that uh, the recent comment from Christian McCaffrey about the 49ers trading for him was the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. And this is a guy who's married. I think he has children.
They just got married, so probably
They
not.
just got married. So, okay, like
That would be
this,
a
I
couple, but
mean,
maybe they had kids before they got married. Sometimes people do that
yeah,
nowadays.
some people do it backwards. They don't
Yeah,
believe in the whole arrangement of God type thing.
but
So
she's a
yeah,
supermodel, so I'm guessing no.
probably not. He to say and listen, I'm still pinching myself that they made that trade last year.
Oh yeah,
Kyle Shanahan straight up says he makes calling offense like way easier because he essentially can do everything. What's your take on his talking? I'm asking you questions, but I'm on your channel. Uh,
That's fine.
what's your take on him saying that? What did you feel about that?
Um,
I
yeah,
think that
well, Sean says he has no kids.
well, that's good enough. Thank
So,
you.
and and it was before he married Olivia Culpo. So, I think maybe he could get away with saying, "Honey, it was just till then. That was the greatest thing that had ever happened to me." Um, I mean, he did get into and graduate from Stanford, which is a pretty big accomplishment. But I can see why. I mean, after toiling away with the Panthers all those years, and I mean, did they ever even get to the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game? I
I don't
mean,
know.
it, you know, the guy now he's here. He's going to the NFC Championship game. If Purdy stays healthy, who knows? Maybe we win it all. Certainly, like we've talked about, probably a coin flip with the Eagles, and probably a little bit less than a coin flip against the Chiefs, but still a winnable game. And and now you got Trey Lance coming up, where he has the potential to be oh so much more. He definitely seems to like Sam Darnold a lot. We saw Kittle, Darnold, and CMC together at both of the first two Lakers Warriors games at Chase Center. The one we lost game one and the one we won game two. So, I think he's super happy and with good reason. He finally has a coach who knows exactly how to use him, who uses him a lot. I mean, I might be a little worried about how much Kyle likes to use
Me too.
CMC. I'd
Me
really
too.
like, some talk came up
Well, if
earlier
Mitchell
about
would
what
have
happened.
stayed healthy last year, they wouldn't have
Yeah.
had that problem. You know.
Not as much, yeah. But I wanted to see more Jordan Mason last year than we saw. I'd like to see more TDP. I'd like to see more of, maybe some of these undrafted running backs we picked up. Watt is, I guess, the fast one. And Laybourne is the one who has the better resume, better college production. But, I wouldn't be shocked to see one of them make the team or the practice squad. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I can totally see why Christian McCaffrey would say it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's finally on a team where, most guys either want a bag or they want to contend, and the Niners are contenders last 3 out of the last 4 years. So
Yeah, it's a weird line or a weird rope to balance on because you don't want it just a team that just everybody gets along and everybody's happy, but they don't win a Super Bowl or they don't win. So the Niners, a lot of people are like, yeah, they have all this camaraderie and this and that, but they don't win. Sometimes I like a little bit of tension, creative tension, where maybe there's a little drama to the team, but the Niners just aren't that team. They're a well coached team. They have they're front office. I think a lot of people maybe 6, 7 years ago when they were going through all their issues probably would have steered away from them. But now it's like, man, I go there and I'm a fledgling defensive lineman. I might get a second life with another contract with their defensive line coach. If I go there, I have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Maybe I take a back seat, so to speak. So it's interesting. The Niners have kind of almost reclaimed like the glory that they had, even though they were winning Super Bowls back then, like of like a place where people want to go to either to resurrect their career or get themselves a ring to help the Niners kind of go over the top. And I'm glad that they're looked at as that type of franchise. I always thought Christian McCaffrey just fit in really well. I just felt like when you watch Christian McCaffrey on the Panthers, I'm like, man, as a 49er, he would have been dope. And then the fact that they actually made the move, he's like a Marshall Faulk, Roger Craig type of like he can run it, he can catch it. He's a ridiculously good receiver for a running back. I mean, he's really good. And the Niners really have a great group of players. Like they just have a lot of weapons. The Niners are so they're built to win it. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of can they put it all together. That they have enough talent. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey to me put this team over the top last year. Down the stretch, I thought he was the quarterback's best friend, regardless of who the quarterback was. But we've never seen him play with Trey Lance, and neither have we seen George Kittle play with Trey Lance. So
barely, barely. We saw him in the
maybe
Texans game.
okay, but like as of to start the season, all the weapons at his disposal. What would Trey Lance look like? We haven't seen that. Now, he could still freaking screw the pooch and look bad, or he could look like what we thought he was going to look like. And as he's growing into the position, lean more on his playmakers before becoming the guy where they lean on him when they start to lose talent, as maybe he becomes the guy and they got to pay him. So they don't have every single position with the top four guy in that position. So listen, man, I don't really care. Like, if Trey Lance is the guy and he plays well, I'm gonna support him. If Brock Purdy's the guy, I'm gonna support him. But like the move for Christian McCaffrey to me was like icing on the cake last year. I thought it was not exactly necessary, but I wasn't against it. You know what I mean? I saw the trade come across the banner, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Tweeted every single Niners fan I knew. Tweeted my brother, even though he's a Dolphins fan. I was like, yo, we got Christian McCaffrey. Like, this isn't fair. So
Yeah, no, I mean, you talk about Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk. You know, Bill Walsh famously said that his offense would not have ever come to fruition properly without Roger Craig. And clearly, Kyle's offense was not working properly without CMC. So it's a huge step up, no doubt about it. I'm sure. Was it Dick Vermeil? Was he the Rams coach back at the Greatest Show on Turf? I'm sure he would have said the same thing about Marshall Faulk being a part of that with Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, and
that was a great
all
offense.
all the different weapons they had there in St. Louis. But Sean says CMC has no weaknesses. 7 years in the league, running, catching, screen game, garnering attention, just opens up the whole field playbook. Yeah, well, earlier, that's a good reminder, Sean. Thank you. Earlier, when I was talking about Steph Curry, even when he's not hitting his shot, he's still creating gravity on the court. CMC has a very similar type of gravity on the football field where everybody goes to cover him and it leaves other guys wide open, and vice versa. You know, whether it's Kittle or Debo, these guys all require a lot of attention or they're going to make you pay 100%. These weapons that the 49ers have. Ayuk too, no doubt about it. McNair says, facts, Aaron, we haven't seen Trey Lance play with a full squad. No, we haven't.
You got to judge
Not
him.
this full squad.
You can't have a sliding scale. You got to be able to judge him like with the same players as the other guys, and then you can get a fair assessment of like all these other guys have all these other players at their disposal, and then when Trey Lance plays, it's like a mash unit as far as offensive weapons or even offensive linemen or even on defense. Like, I want to see. That's why he has a chance if he starts this coming season as the number one guy. He's going to hopefully, if everything goes right in training camp and preseason, and we escape major injuries, he's going to get a chance. And if he excels, I think the Niners are in a really good place because essentially they'd have a great backup and a great starter, and that's the best you can ask for. So I'm all in on the Trey Lance train for sure.
Me too. And to answer your question, what will he look like at the beginning of the year? I don't think he'll look quite as good as Brock Purdy. I think, he unless somehow he's improved his short game and his accuracy, maybe that finger was holding him back. I don't know. But my expectation is that Lance will not look bad, that he would look kind of good to very good. I think he'll be more of a deep threat than Purdy, but I don't think he'll be as good on the short stuff. And overall, I think he would be just a little bit lower than Purdy on an absolute level. But I don't think that would last long either. I think Lance would improve quickly and could be better than Purdy in short order. But that remains to be seen. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to get closer to his ceiling, or actually hit his ceiling would be ideal. Sean 9519er says Shanny doesn't want Lance. Every move he's made since 2017 has been a Cousins type. Hoyer, Beathard, Mullins, JG, Purdy, Darnold. Now you see. No, I don't include Darnold. Darnold is very different than all those other guys. Darnold is mobile. Darnold has a pretty big arm, and he is definitely not a game manager. He's like a sling it and see what happens kind of guy. Throw some spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And sometimes it's a big play that sticks, and sometimes it's an interception that sticks with Darnold. So I don't include him in that group. Obviously not Lance. I would say Purdy is more in that group, but he's still more mobile than most of those guys and quicker in the pocket, better pocket presence.
A lot of those guys cratered in the pocket, like literally cratered in the pocket. They had absolutely no pocket awareness.
No doubt about it. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, all I know is all our quarterbacks got injured, and we need to figure out a way to keep them healthy. Like, for instance, let's talk about the fact that he had this finger injury. Everybody knows about this, right? The finger injury that
Yeah, the
Trey
avulsion
Lance had.
fracture. It was in his right index finger, which is probably your third most important finger when you're throwing. The most important is your
Yeah,
thumb.
to grip.
Second most important is your middle finger, and third most is your index finger throwing a football. And when it happened, I was looking for my tweet. I got to go dig it up because I tweeted about it. I have an orthopedic surgeon in my family, and they were basically telling me if he re-injures that thing, it won't be 4 to 6 weeks that it hurts him. It could go on for months or even a year. And that sounds like is exactly what they just said happened, is that there were complications, or maybe it was even just less that the injury persisted and just the style of play that he adopted to compensate for it caused him to not have good accuracy, where he was throwing with a straight index finger where he couldn't bend it. And that affected him. But either way, they said it affected him all the way up until camp last year. And again, maybe that's why he didn't go to tight end university last summer. But I'll let you go with that, Aaron.
Yeah, I totally agree. And he was, yeah, that's what they said. He was essentially thrown without an index finger. So his delivery and his ball, pause, the balls that he was throwing, they were funky. And Kyle says he's as healthy as he's been since he's been there, and he looks great. Now, again, throwing against air in OTAs doesn't really get my juices flowing, so to speak. But Kyle, listen, they hadn't really talked up Trey at all since he's been here. This is the first offseason where I feel like Trey's gotten support from different people within the organization, including Kyle Shanahan. And I don't think people realize how much of grip has to do with your fingers when you throw a football. And if you can't use your index finger to grip, I don't even know how he was throwing. He was essentially throwing with I can't understand. That's hard to do, to not be able to put that over the football. Because essentially it was like stuck.
especially a lot of people take that index finger and they put it right on the tip of the football, the back tip, and they throw it that way. And so in that style, it would be incredibly harmful to your production, to your accuracy, what have you.
Yeah, I really, I have this feeling that if the Niners were to make the mistake of trading Trey Lance and Brock Purdy comes down to earth, that this would be an astronomical franchise altering decision. That's why Trey Lance has to succeed, because if Trey Lance succeeds, everything's better. Now you essentially have two starting quarterbacks, right? If Trey Lance doesn't quite do what he needs to do and the Niners decide, listen, we want to give you a fresh start, we move you, and Brock Purdy is the guy, and Brock Purdy kind of comes back down to earth, say like Jimmy, or somebody in the chat said Nick Foles, we're screwed. You know what I mean? The league gets a beat on them and they shut down everything. I'd rather have a guy that has more to his game than just kind of running around and hitting dink and dunks. I want to see somebody that could actually attack the perimeter, the outside of the field. And then now you have to cover everything, right? And now Danny Gray maybe becomes a guy if he could ever get his attitude in check and start blocking. So that's my fear. I mean, I was loving Brock Purdy last year, and I will be okay with him if he starts this year. But damn it, he better come out looking better, even better than if he comes out and he looks like how Jimmy did in the early 2018 season, where we played against the Lions and he looked horrible, and then we played against the Vikings and he looked horrible, and then it was like I thought to myself, man, we made a massive mistake overpaying for this guy. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I don't want the Niners to make the decision of letting go of Trey Lance if they decide to go with Purdy as their starter. I'd rather have the reverse happen, and then you have two good quarterbacks. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the index finger, but Bryant was saying he heard it was the middle finger. Now it's the index finger. I guess the middle finger would make sense if you're throwing forward and the guy's helmet's coming. That's going to be, on most people, the middle finger sticks out further. So maybe that was what hit. Yeah.
Someone's gonna freeze frame that and be like, "Who's he flicking off?"
Me, I'm flicking off Bash for this one. So
Right
calling
here,
me
right?
Ted the Bear.
Teddy bear.
Uh,
Boom, boom, man. That's not even clever. Come on, guys.
no, I'm kidding, Bash. We love you being here. Thanks for coming.
I love
Appreciate it.
Bash. He's my
Um,
Iraqi brother who makes pizza better than Italian people.
there
Kind
you
of
go.
messed up. He's got to learn to make the thin crust though. You got to make me some thin crusts like that, like they do in New York. But I got to have some. I like the thick and I like all the sauce and the cheese and everything, but I like a little thin crust once in a while too. So if you learn that, you're good.
Yeah. I could swear it was the index, but we'll see. Someone look it up, and I'm sure you could find a presser. It was from September of 2021 was when we played the Raiders in the last preseason game of 2021. And I'm sure it'll say index or middle finger, but we'll see. Sean 951's a pretty less of 7-0 and 35 points a game. CMC the whole offseason for the playbook. Lance fully healthy. It's no excuse.
No, I
Either
agree.
baller or dud. Well, wait a minute. But there's a couple things going on here. I've heard some interesting sort of conspiracy theories about, well, it's no conspiracy to say that the Niners started slow in 2021 at 3-5 and slow in 2022 at 3-4. But I have heard some people with an interesting theory of like, maybe it's better if Darnold is the starter week 1.
Oh, God.
Because then you lose in Pittsburgh. Like it's basically a scheduled loss to start in Pittsburgh. They're like 15-1 in opening day games under Tomlin, or like maybe it was including. Okay. Well, I mean, you're going to be there, right? We talked about maybe
not looking promising with the nephew not responding.
Oh man. Well, anyway, bottom line is, maybe there is some wisdom to not having Lance start week 1. Darnold comes in, he, S's the bed, and then you bring Lance in to be the savior week 2. Because then you got the Rams, which, I mean, come on, we're going to beat the Rams.
We got to start fast though this year. We have to start fast. Raj said it last night. We have to have home field advantage this year. I think it's vital to win a championship. 2019, man, we were in the Super Bowl. We were 7 minutes away, and then it all fell apart. I mean, I think it would be nice to, get another bye week, get everybody rested up. The Niners can't afford a slow start, and so one of the conspiracy of having Sam Darnold start to protect possibly overexposing Trey Lance, that's just, I don't know, man. Like,
I've heard several creators mention it, but
why are we so afraid? He's got to. It's time.
It's just because of Pittsburgh. Because Pittsburgh is like unbeatable in Pittsburgh week 1. It's like this thing. They just don't lose opening day games at Heinz Field, or I forget. We looked it up last week. Whatever they're calling it this nowadays, it's some awful name. Syncopia or something silly like that.
Yeah, it was like this weird name. It sounded like something you get at the doctor. I had my Syncopia done today. Like what? Like a blood, some blood work or something.
Bash says, Sean, if Shanny didn't want Lance and Lynch didn't want him, who put the gun to their head to draft that Trey? Then why? And he's saying his pizza is New York thin crust.
Well, sometimes the way it looks on the Instagram, sometimes it looks thicker, the crust, than what I'm accustomed to eating. I don't mind meaty crust, but I don't know. You have to, maybe you need like a wider shot so I could kind of see it, because it always looks kind of, I don't know.
Bryant's saying he has two different reports on the Lance finger. Well, when in doubt, listen to me. Right? There you go.
Yeah, listen to you.
Simple. Index finger. That's it. Laura Cat says, give me the pizza.
Please.
He says $1. 2019, we started fast. It can be done. Yeah, 8-0 in 2019. But that was that epic defense. And we might have an epic defense this year too. So maybe
still looking.
Ain't no one trying to lose week 1. They'll be there with squad. We ain't trying to see that. All right.
No, I like to hear that.
Still looking.
Especially if that becomes my first game I've ever been to. She says I can be your emotional support. What if I go to the game?
There you go. Yes. Now
I'm
you gotta
I,
go.
I'm really really rigid when I'm somewhere. One, I'm not comfortable, and two, like I get stressed watching the 49ers like big
You're
time.
never gonna get a better offer than that, my friend. That's all I can
Right.
tell you.
I
True.
gotta have Bash come out here too. He needs to bring me some dough and stuff. Make it
Pitt's
in the
tougher
hotel
home
room.
openers. We got our A plus game. There we go. So as long as we're talking about the schedule, there was an interesting report that came out. Warren Sharp cited us at minus 20 days of rest this season,
I saw that.
while some other teams are as much as plus 12 days of rest. So literally during that was a 3.5, 4 month season, some teams are getting a full month more of rest than the 49ers. We are literally the lowest at minus 20. And it was the Jets and someone else are at, I sent it to you. So let me go take a look
I
real
saw
quick.
that. I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out what it meant, but that's ridiculous.
It means that we're getting jammed on the schedule. It means that they are scheduling losses. It means that if I was saying 12-5 or 13-4 was my kind of prediction, like I'm backing off of that. I'll tell you what, right now I'm gonna add in at least another loss and make it more like 12-5 or 11-6. I think 12-5 optimistic now instead
Just
of the
physically because
pessimistic
they'll be so
outlook.
beat up.
They're going to be so beat up. Yeah, they got all these East Coast, West Coast. There's we have 2 Thursday games because we play on Thanksgiving, and we have a Thursday night game beyond that. So yeah, it's not looking good. The schedule makers did not do us any favors. Here it is. So three teams are plus 12: the New York Jets, the Chicago Bears, and the Washington Commanders, all plus 12. The Titans are plus 11. The Browns are plus 10. The Ravens are plus 9. So that might be one of the games that I would flip flop. Like I had us beating the Ravens. We're minus 20 and they're plus 9. Maybe I'm giving that game to the Ravens. Instead, it
Do you
is
think
late
that's
in the
part of it is
season.
because the Niners are expected to be really good,
Yeah, absolutely. And
and
part
some
of
of
it is
these teams
just
that you're
random. Part of it is just random. Just some of it is out of their control.
I think a
But
lot of it has to
some,
do with the fact that they no longer have early games in Santa Clara because of the sun, and so they have all this extra travel
yes,
early in the
that's part
season
of it. That's part of it. They know not to schedule any day games in
because we
September
got these
for us.
complaining, whiny ass fans that'd be like, it's hot.
Well, no,
What about
no, 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 no,
Tampa?
no, no, no. You don't get to say that until you've actually sat on that sunny side, Aaron. It is brutal.
Oh,
I
you
mean, it's
mean
brutal. It's brutal. I have the sun to my back, and it's only for the first half, and it's crazy hot in September. I'm just telling you because it's like hot, sunny. There's no breeze, and it's just like you just cook in that stadium. It's people like
okay?
Tampa. I know Tampa's hotter because of the humidity, but it's up there. I'm telling you with these other brutal spots. So speaking of Tampa, where are they on the list? They're way down at minus 6, so they're closer to us. So, but some of it is West Coast, right? So it's us. The Rams are minus 17. I'm assuming, yeah, that's the LA. They don't say R, but they say LAC above at minus 6. So we're the worst at 20, negative 20. The Rams are second worst at negative 17. And then the Chiefs are pretty bad at negative 13, so they're not West Coast. So they got kind of jammed. Um, and then, other notable ones, Seattle Seahawks minus 4. So they're a full, 16 days more rest than us and 13 more days than the Rams. And then the Cardinals, where are they? That's going to be under AZ. Interesting that they're not even negative, the Cardinals. Arizona plus 5. So it's not just all West Coast. And last year the Niners had a pretty favorable schedule. Anything else super notable? Cowboys plus 1. Where are the Eagles? Eagles are minus 6. And then Dallas and Detroit both plus 1. Those are some of the good NFC teams. But Baltimore plus 9 and us minus 20. Maybe I flip my Ravens
Prediction.
prediction and say the Ravens beat us because they're rested and healthier than the Niners at that point because it's late in the season too, and all that stuff really starts to add up.
I guess we'll see. Bash said something about is it cold? He checked the weather in Rochester. Yeah, it's 48 degrees today, dude. It's freaking cold. It'll be
Sheesh,
set
what
in
happened to
2 days.
spring?
Well, that's how it is over here. In 2 days, it's going to be 80 degrees. So go figure.
94 degrees there. Well, yeah, he's out by Sac, so that's hot out there in the Central Valley. It was nice here on the peninsula today. It was like 70s and sunny. But speaking of 70s and sunny, that brings up another subject. And we'll get. I mean, maybe we're done with the schedule anyway. But bottom line is, Niners got jammed on the schedule. As far as rest days are concerned, the worst in the league. But sunny day, I think it was like 75, 80 and sunny. And Joey Fisher, our big undrafted free agent tackle that everybody's hoping
couldn't make
it through practice, folks. And that's not, somebody, I was listening to somebody and they were saying, oh, well, maybe, he was just sitting around waiting to see where he got drafted and he wasn't working out and staying in shape.
I've heard that.
He was in a small D2 school and, probably didn't have the greatest program and probably, didn't have a lot of money to go pay somebody to take care of him, even still as an undrafted free agent, he probably is going to rely on getting in shape at the practices rather than having some specialist that he goes to see paying out of pocket money to or whatever. But anyway, that was an interesting something that came up this week too, since we spoke last week.
That is interesting. And it's not a good sign, especially if you're an undrafted free agent, to not be able to make it through your first practice. Randy Daytona says he was dehydrated. So, we got somebody, a Rams fan in here, calls us the 1994 VHS champs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's always there. Oh, looks like we got a super chat. I don't know. Do I do that?
I'm not sure.
Bethany Ricks, $1.99 super sticker. I guess. Thank you, Bethany.
Yeah,
she's on your channel, so that's on yours. I don't even know how that works, but it doesn't seem like I can make it play. I think it might be able to. No, I can't put it up either. Yeah, but thank you, Bethany. We
appreciate
thank
that
you
very
on behalf
much.
of Aaron. Yeah, no doubt about it. So Shanny wanted Jones. In other words, Mac Jones. No. It's John Lynch is the one who maybe wanted Mac Jones. Kyle wanted Lance. And Kyle, I think this is what's happening is these stories get out and they start getting too big of legs, and then Kyle comes out and he squashes it. Like with Ian Rappaport, where Rapp had to, backtrack off his statements. I'm pretty sure that was Kyle that went to Rappaport because Lynch had been leaking all this stuff. Yeah, he's like, enough of the madness. Stop the madness.
Yeah, Lynch to me is, I love the guy to death, but sometimes he's a little too honest. And I think he's too forthright sometimes when he talks to people. He needs to keep stuff kind of more buttoned up and stop being so open and available to everybody, man. Like, there's no mean bone in his body. Listen, I could understand why they wanted freaking Mac Jones, but Mac Jones to me is like, he's already hit his ceiling. That's it. You've seen the best of him. He's not going to get better. He doesn't have elite level talent. He doesn't have elite level skills in his game. There's nothing you could check and say he does this incredibly well. He's just a regular ass guy like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Purdy's better.
Like Purdy's way better.
Yeah. And Bash says you definitely need sunblock at a Niners game. It's a must, no doubt. Jim Everett says, "What's
I
up?"
wouldn't go. I wouldn't go there without it. I'd probably wear like a big sombrero hat or something and block a bunch of people's view.
There you go. Randy Daytona says predictions of Rams going 9-8. Is that accurate? Maybe as a ceiling. I could see them doing a lot worse. I could see them more like 6-7 wins. But I could see them getting a 9,
5-12
again.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Yeah.
They're gonna run that back.
They're gonna run it back. I just don't see the talent on the team to push past anything more than 5 or 6, 7 wins.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Whoa!
Who cares about being negative rest? Run game travels. These are, it's just Sean last year.
He just wants no excuses.
Yeah, I get it, but last year that was one of the things that broke right for the Niners was we didn't have an unfavorable travel rest schedule. We had a lot of good rest, and that was part of the reason why the Niners were able to get healthy towards the end of the year and make a good playoff run. And without that, and I'm not saying we can't do it. I'm just saying it's going to be a lot tougher with negative 20 days rest. Literally over a month of days less than the Jets, the Bears and whoever else I said. Lucky teams.
Yeah, I think the 49ers are. I think they're. I yeah, I could see some of these like scheduled losses, or people saying that the Niners have a gauntlet, but we've said that before, and the Niners have smashed the gauntlet and then lost to teams that we didn't think they were going to lose to. So freaking nobody really knows, man. Nobody really knows. Looks like we had a super from Still Looking here. Just want to make sure I let you know.
Okay, let's get that. There's Bethany. Wow, $9.99. There we go. So now we can see it. But it's
Expect,
not. It's not displaying.
and it's because it's on my channel.
Ah,
But
okay. Well, anyway, it says back to the schedule. The Ravens game is real interesting that time of year against a team with that talent could have a matter. Other note: Mac Jones is hot garbage.
oh,
Absolutely.
Mac Jones is totally hot
Still
garbage. Yeah,
looking.
the
Nine ninety
Ravens.
nine super chat. Thank you. Still looking.
Appreciate that. That is something with I don't know. I'm not as
Oh, there it goes.
bullish. I'm not as bullish like I was before on Lamar Jackson. I think the Niners hopefully can figure out a way to reel him in. The Niners' biggest issue that they've always had since that Kyle and John have been the head is just the ability to put a clamp on some of these freaking mobile quarterbacks. So if they do a better job of that, I'm not really scared of their receivers.
Well, it's going to help having two safeties that can blitz and Hufanga and Jair Brown. And
I'm scared of him on the move and what he can do in the run game more than what he can do dissecting us in the pass game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Although they did get OBJ and Zay Flowers. So they definitely have some better receivers for him than they've had in a long time. So here, now I can play the sticker. So there's the super sticker.
We appreciate you. I like, what's his name? Well, who's that? DJ Khaled? I
Yes,
appreciate you.
absolutely. Bethany Rick says, "Go time, 49er, go love, go lives during
Go live in during
the 5 Super Bowl wins, I guess. 1-1-6 hope Super Bowl next year. Plan exercise favor." Okay.
I have no idea what that means, but thank
No,
you.
I mean, I think she's saying let's take 6. I think
Yeah, take 6.
she
No more.
loved the
No more.
5, but now let's take 6.
Yeah, take 6 for sure. Man, all that talk about pizza's got me freaking hungry.
Sean, I agree. Week 9 is pretty optimal for a bye week. Maybe a little bit later might be helpful too. But yeah, I mean, right now at the beginning of the season, mid-season, that's about as good as you can hope for. So that is one thing that broke our way. I agree with you there. Bashes agree with Bethany. We're deep enough, barring major injury, to survive short rest test.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely this. If any team can do it, it's this team. Especially if Trey Lance starts playing well. I mean, that could make up for a lot of stuff.
Niners need to win a lot of games in blowouts so they could put some people
rest in the fourth
and
quarters.
Rest them on the phone. Rest them on the phone. I'm talking about reading 49er minded thing, and I'm talking about the phone. Yeah, like rest people, and then we don't have to worry. And listen, if the Niners come out fast and they can get the number 1 seed, we have essentially a mid-season bye week, pretty much this year, and then we'd have a bye week going into whatever playoff game. So the Niners got to do what they got to do and beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and if they take care of their own business, then they don't have any problems. It really comes down to what they do, and they got to stay healthy.
TL 49ers in the house.
What's
Taryn
up,
Lewis,
man?
Thanks for joining, Taryn. Everybody's just saying hi. Pleasanton isn't always so pleasant. It gets pretty hot there, no doubt about it.
Pleasanton sounds like a fictional West Coast, like 1950s neighborhood.
It's sort of in between San Jose and Sacramento. If you go out 680, Highway 680, a little closer to San Jose. That's one of the first big cities after San Jose, going out 680. But see, Fox Aaron Jones is like Jimmy G. Yeah, Mac Jones is. I don't even think he's as good as Jimmy G. Honestly, he's better at staying healthy, but I don't think he's a better football player. At least not yet. Roseville isn't always so rosy. It just gets so hot in Roseville. It's a nice town. It's just blazing hot. Just a little northeast of Sacramento. Folks are saying hi. We're out here, man. Am I ever going to catch up? I don't know. We'll see here. He's laughing. DJ Khaled. He liked that one.
I
Dash
appreciate you.
liked it.
He's so not talented.
Taryn saying hi
Just
to
a fat guy.
folks.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. Don't attack me.
Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Thank you, Brian.
Please, please hit the like button if you want. Maybe.
If you want. Yeah. Hindsight 2020 and 2020 wanted Jones. He was a Pro Bowler his first season. Now he sucks. Nah, dude, he was not a Pro Bowler. He was like the alternate to an alternate that just like one guy went to the Super Bowl and some other guy is like, hell no, I'm not playing. And they're like, okay, Mac Jones, you want to come be? You know, he was so good in that season that he was so vital to the Patriots that they won a game against the Bills at Orchard Park or whatever they call it in Buffalo. In gale force winds, and Mac Jones threw 3 pass attempts, completed 2, and they won that game. So you tell me how integral that was to them winning that game. They ran it down the Bills' throat, and their D and special teams and run game was what carried them, not Mac Jones. So I don't hear anything about that Pro Bowl. That's crock of you know what.
Zappy, like there was talk that Zappy and him there's nothing that separates them, and that they wanted to move on from him.
Yeah,
who moves
they would
on?
have, but nobody wanted to trade for him. Sounds just like Jimmy G. Actually.
Sounds just like Jimmy G, a guy with no value.
Yeah.
My internet is starting to crap out. Might be a sign.
And we're coming up on an hour and a half here too. So I'm just trying to catch up to the chat. That channel is
Ted with his technical responses. Technical Ted.
I am like the farthest thing from technical, but
no, he's not technical Ted. He's receipts Ted.
Yes, Ted no doubt about it. I think he meant the Pleasanton side of things.
Zappy is looking kind of snappy.
a lot of big office buildings in Pleasanton, for sure. A lot of big corporations have large office buildings there. Mac Jones knows how to do the gritty. That's about it.
Oh God, yeah, because that's going to help you win.
Stockton is the first city in California not Spanish names. Interesting. Didn't even think about that. That's true. Not named. Trey Lance is QB1. Yes, please, Izzy. Ted with the technical responses are catching up. Still looking, says, only know Ted did a screen. Old boy, the left needs game and take old girl volunteering with you. Game changers, buck the crowd. There you go. Get those tickets. Laura, Kat, and Aaron are going to the Steelers game. You heard it here, folks.
I want to go so bad. I need to go with my nephew. I can't go alone.
No, go with Laura, Kat. I'm sure
she lives on the West Coast,
as good
right?
as your nephew. She says she's going. She says she's going to be there.
Plane ride.
Emotional support for you. So, I mean,
we still got some time.
I'm telling you, you're not going to get a better offer than that, my friend. Not going to get it. What's up? Sackdown, Roseville here. Zappy, kind of snappy. Oh, boy, Bash.
We're getting to that point in the stream where people are just typing random things into the chat. LeGoat is getting his 5th. I don't think so. I think they're about to lose to the Nuggets.
I mean, they lost last night. I don't know. The Nuggets aren't going to play better than they played last night, but I think the Lakers played pretty well last night too. I think they're their best half ever in the playoffs in the second half to close the gap. They were down by 18 at the half and they lost by 6, and they got to within 3. So we'll see.
I think that says more about the Nuggets than it does about the Lakers to me.
Just watch the refs. Yeah, the Nuggets went cold for sure. Just watch the refs. That's all I can tell you. That's what I told my buddy in Denver. I'm like, he's like something about Steph Curry being at home. I'm like, I hope you don't find out why, because like I said, the refs definitely helped the Lakers early against the Warriors. I'm not going to say game 6 because game 6, the Warriors choked. That's on the Warriors. I've said it before. I said it before it happened. I said a lot of times the refs do things to extend series. Usually at the end, the Warriors get a chance to win, but sometimes they're just too tired and beat up from getting jammed early in the series, and that is what I think happened. But who knows? Ever since Bennett been throwing darts at Rams, Niners, OTA has been real quiet. Practice, Jim Everett, practice. I call Stetson Bennett drunk Purdy, so we'll see if he can even be that good. I don't think so, but have you seen me? Trey Lance missing. No, Trey Lance is going to tight end university, so he's not missing. He's going to Tennessee with Kittle and all the best tight ends. Randy says, I was born to love the Niners. Outstanding.
Same.
It's huge. LOL, because that's going to help you win games. I think he means the Stetson Bennett thing. Right. Yeah, practice. Everybody's a hero at OTAs.
Yeah, everybody looks good against no pass rush. Woohoo!
Who wouldn't walk 3,500 miles for Laura Cat?
I would walk 500 miles.
That's right.
Listen, guys, everybody relax in the
and
comments.
It's not 3,500 miles for Aaron. It's like 400 miles, right?
It's from Rochester here to Pennsylvania is about 4 hours, I think.
Yeah, dude. This is you got to do it. You got to do it, man. You heard it her first. Aaron's doing it.
I didn't say anything.
I'm accepting on his behalf.
If somebody wants to donate me some money, maybe I'll go. But until then, I don't think so.
We'll start a GoFundMe. Don't worry. We'll get it figured out. People on Twitter are so generous.
I'll make a Patreon page where people could just randomly send me money. I've seen people on YouTube try to do that because they can't get monetized. And they're like, hey, just pay me. It's like, no.
Jim Everett says Lakers in 5. All right, we'll see. I said Nuggets in 7. I'm still saying that. But we'll see. Quiet because no one's worried about the team. No, not the Rams. That's for sure. Maybe the Chargers, if they can stay healthy, might scare some people. Hit the likes. Thanks, Jim Everett. We appreciate it. I think we're catching up here because Super Bowls are won in OTAs. Exactly. And got it. And Rams will get their 5th. Yeah, they don't even have 3. How are they going to get 5? It would be their 3rd. But it's because Rams fans like to count the ones before the Super Bowl. As if like the people playing leather helmets where there's 8 or 12 teams.
Those don't count.
That really means they don't count.
The league doesn't even record them as counting. The first Super Bowl was the Colts and the Jets. That was their officially Super Bowl number 1. Any of that other stuff beforehand, it doesn't count.
Child's play. Ancient
that was
history.
When the league had like 6 teams. So
yeah. Well, thanks everybody for showing up. We appreciate it. I'll say peace and go Niners. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Take care.